World in Words time, and to get us started today, an interesting story from the South China Morning Post, yeah?
Yeah, the talks between China and the US, they got a few of the headlines. There was also, a summit here in Seoul and in Japan as well recently. A couple of the bigwigs from the US have been on this East Asia tour, but it wasn't any of the actual people in charge that were getting the headlines here. It was the interpreter. And so we're going to look at diplomatic language later on, but it's really interesting, isn't it? If you think about diplomatic meetings, right, between diplomats of countries, often those diplomats don't speak each other's language, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's all through an interpreter. So maybe the most famous meeting of the past few years is between North Korea and America. And they were having to speak through interpreters. So you can't underestimate the, not influence necessarily, because it might not be deliberate, but the power in the interpreter's hands, right? Or in their mouths, basically.
Right. 1,000,000% agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you could totally mess up a situation. Right?
Yeah. It's so nerve-wracking.
I'm being facetious. Not that anybody would. No, obviously, you have to get the translation correct, but you have to get the nuance of the language. You have to be completely fluent.
Yes.
In both languages being spoken, right?
And then that's not easy. There aren't even that many interpreters, who are 100% fluent in both. And usually the country, say it's North Korea, they will have someone who's definitely a North Korean native speaker and then just very good at English, and then vice versa, right?
Yeah.
But in China, this lady got a lot of the headlines. Her name is Zhang Jing, and we'll listen to a clip. This follows one of the officials, the Chinese officials, speaking for about 14 minutes non-stop before giving the interpretation.
There was no break?
Gosh.
Yes. And so you'll hear her kind of butt in here.
Okay.
It's a test for the interpreter.
We're going to give the translator a raise.
We hope that this dialogue will be a sincere and candid one. Both China and the United States are major countries in the world. But for China, what we have asked for other countries is to follow a path of peaceful development. And this is the purpose of our foreign policy. We do not believe in invading through the use of force or to topple other regimes through various means, or to massacre the people of other countries, because all of those would only cause turmoil and instability in this world.
So that was a portion of what the diplomats
We can't listen to all 14 minutes.
But no, that was my question.
Yes.
She went on for she did the whole thing.
Yeah, she went on for a considerable amount of time as well.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it must be said that she did have notes, so I'm assuming there was a framework to what was going to be said at this summit, and I think that's how most interpreters like to work. In some cases, it's not provided, but in that case, I think it was. But especially netizens in China were going crazy about Zhang, saying she was amazing, very calm, cool-headed. And, she's not being too outwardly lovely about the guests, America, in this summit. She's trying to get her points across. But you can also hear there's a lot of diplomatic language. They're not directly naming the US. They're not directly attacking them for their international policy. And that's what people found amazing. And it did help that she kind of looks like a movie star as well at the same time.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I've not seen her.
She's got a nickname of a Chinese actress called Zhao Whale, so known as the Little Zhao.
Oh, wow.
For her stunning looks.
That's impressive. I'm not familiar with the world of interpretation. So have you ever done any of it before, Kate?
I've done some like unofficial type of meetings, when two business persons are meeting and I had to interpret between Korean and English.
That's pretty important too.
But it's not official, where there's other people. It's kind of more like private talk. So if I miss something, I can just candidly ask, I'm sorry, what was that?
I see, yeah.
What was the number? And we can kind of go back.
Yeah, you never see an interpreter at the UN go like,
sorry?
Sorry, what was that?
Can you say that again? Yeah, exactly.
Fired.
I'm sure they must skirt over it sometimes. They must miss something from time to time.
You'd have to.
Yeah, but I know one interpreter, and she told me that in the big meetings, you have two. It's a team of two.
Right.
You must have two people because, one person can always miss something. So they're always on hand. And then the really important simultaneous translation, I don't know if you remember when Richard Gere came to Korea, he was on the sofa of some chat show. They have two simultaneous, one to go from one language and the other to go the other way. And that just makes sure there's no problems. But she was doing it seemingly by herself.
Remember Bong Joon-ho's interpreter?
Sharon Choi.
She got a lot of attention too, a lot of love too, right?
Amazing.
For the incredible job that she did when Parasite was getting all the attention and he was doing all of those interviews.
Yeah, and that's what it can do. If you have a good interpreter, it can change the course of a meeting, it can change the atmosphere of an awards ceremony. If you have a bad one, on the other hand, it can ruin those situations, right?
Right.
And so later on, I thought it would be fun because she spoke very diplomatically, and we can test each other out on how diplomatic we can be. I'll give you the actual thing I mean, and you can package it like a true diplomat.
All right, so we're going to get quizzed here, not quizzed.
Yes, we'll have a little quiz with diplomatic language.
Oh, yes, right.
And we can do it in a kind of fun way where I'll give you the message I want you to convey in pretty direct talk. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. And I want you to be the nicest you can be about it. Be a diplomat for the day. Okay?
Is there any particular correct answer?
Well, there are many tips for diplomatic language. It's not like there's a dictionary and you must use all these words and phrases, but there are many tips, many do's and don'ts that you should and shouldn't use when you're a diplomat.
Viola, do you have any translating rude words to diplomatic words quiz music up your sleeve today?
I would love to hear that Irish music once again. That was brilliant from St. Patrick's Day last week.
Hashtag previous show.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Okay,
so do you want us to just go back? Kate will go first.
Why don't I give you both the same mission, okay? And you can give me both your versions, okay? Try and be as diplomatic and as polite as possible, but still you've got to get your point across. Okay? So what I'd like in your first message is to tell someone that it's, let's say this is a business meeting, right? And you're telling your counterpart that's a very terrible idea and the report you read is awful and you would like them to come up with something immediately. Okay, so I love the music. Totally translator vibes here. I think this was from the classical music segment.
It sounds like something from Oliver Twist. Like, your idea was a terrible one.
If you could sing it, that would be even better.
It does soften the blow, does it not?
It definitely does. Maybe that's what diplomats are missing out on.
Your idea is terrible. The report you read is awful. You need a new idea. Kate, translate to diplomatic language, please.
Okay. Why do I feel like I need to put on a British accent or something?
That would help as well.
I'm not so sure we can agree with the idea that you came up with.
Ooh.
The report that we have read and carefully examined. I should probably not be doing that.
It's very diplomatic.
It's expressing, okay, the report that I read could use some enhancements. And so it would be great if you could come up with something else soon. I can't say anything else.
Not bad.
Okay, woo.
Not bad.
All right, Steve, what you got?
Though I appreciate your input on this particular issue, I think it may be better if we explore some different avenues for this idea. So perhaps we could put your current ideas on the back burner and we could come up with something new together.
Oh.
How about the urgency of the situation?
Yesterday.
Fantastic.
At your earliest possible convenience.
That is the way to do it as a true diplomat, they say, yeah. Because saying something you need immediately. It's
Right.
not hard to be. It's hard to be indirect with that statement.
Yeah.
But at
Sure.
your earliest convenience does in code language means ASAP.
Right now.
Yeah.
exactly.
But very well done to Kate because, instead of saying something is a bad idea, using a lot of filler words, they say, softens the blow. So you said something like, you're not so sure that that's such a great idea. And using positive words for negative things. So instead of bad idea, saying, it's not a great idea.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
It's true, right? When you are packaging a negative sentence, instead of saying terrible idea, when you put like 5 or 6 extra words around it, it's like bubble wrap.
Yes.
For
you kind of
your-
lose the message.
For
right?
your message. It gets hidden in there somewhere, right?
In all the linguistics.
Yeah. Like you're fired becomes like, well, it seems as though you won't be coming to work with us at any point in the future.
Sounds almost nice. Thank you.
Is that a vacation?
I know.
What just happened there? All right, give us another one then.
Okie dokie. Here's the message you guys, you diplomats, need to relay. We have made a grave mistake, and no, we will not be able to meet your deadline. You need to wait 2 weeks. Okay, so the 3 big things.
Kate, are you writing that down?
I want to do a good job.
You're a perfect diplomat.
Oh, I just totally saw your entire elementary, middle, and high school life all in 5 seconds.
Don't worry, I'll be generous, Kate. I'll say it once again.
Yeah, one more time.
We've made a grave mistake, okay? That's the first point. Second
Okay.
point is no, we will not meet your deadline. And the third point, you need to wait an extra 2 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
Has this writing helped in any way, Kate?
Yeah, hopefully it did. Okay, Steve, why don't you go first? I went first the last time.
All right, the pressure's on Steve.
Okay. It is with our greatest apologies
Good to start with an apology, yes?
that we must inform you that the April 17th deadline will have to be pushed to the end of April, as it is a deadline that we unfortunately, through no fault of your own, we are unable to meet. Sincerely, CEO Wigglebum.
Not bad, but the one big mistake, they always say in diplomatic talk, even if it's your problem, your fault, or especially if it's the other side's fault, try not
Blame
to
them.
use any person markers like we or you or me. Try and keep it completely neutral. So, Kate, with that in mind,
Okay.
No,
I should have just gone first.
no, no we,
Okay.
no you, and
no I,
and no I,
no us.
no us.
Just try and keep the
No
situation
personal pronouns.
at the center.
Okay. Oh, unfortunately. I believe it's in our best interest if we.
You've used lots of we's and I's.
Oh,
there.
no!
But anyway, continue.
Add more to the discussions that we or add
I think that's answering the first question
No,
from
yeah.
5 minutes ago.
I am horrible at this. Can
So-
I live in Cool Land? I can just, come on, bruh. Give me
These
2 extra
yeah.
weeks, man.
These conversations never take place in Cool World.
So they say instead of like mistake or errors, use some nice words for that. Things like hiccups and slip-ups. So it has come to our attention that a small hiccup has arisen in the scheduling. And the deadline
Scheduling.
that was originally envisioned will not be met. Not by us or you.
Envisioned.
You know. Yes.
Scheduling.
Yeah, scheduling.
The envisioned scheduling.
And then use lots of modifiers. Things like a bit of, a little, minor, slight. Even if it isn't, even if the deadline is going to be pushed back double, like there might be a slight delay, and we will confirm things at a later date.
I kind of wish Men on Air was going to start like 10 minutes late today, so I could say, the envisioned scheduling for Men on Air. There's a slight hiccup in TBSefm's scheduling.
Yes, a bump in the
Does
road.
anybody say that word in England, by the way?
Schedule?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like train and bus schedules. But when you talk about your very own schedules, not so much, I'd say.
see.
Yeah.
What if your schedule conflicts with the bus schedule? How would you put that sentence together?
My schedule is not running well with the bus schedule. Yeah, then it would be odd in the same sentence to switch.
Words are
You've
fun.
stumped me.
It's going to do it for the Steve Hatherly Show. A couple of last messages.